Right, guys, so what I want to go through today is automated UI testing around mobile apps. So it's a service that is leveraged through App Center. So first of all, I built my local UI tests and I'll just execute it to show you how it looks like on a emulator here. So here I have 7 test methods that I'm going to test through. Let me just start it right away. So now the app will get deployed for each test. So you have a fresh, clean install. Now it starts. The first one is just controlling whether all the controls were displayed on the login page, so like username, password, and submit button. The next one is when you have the wrong login, whether the wrong password label is shown, and that is also shown here. The next one is a spinner test, whether there's a spinner shown. So the UI test that I wrote locally is written in C#, and the test basically makes query against the app screen in order to interact with those controls. Now it's a login success, this test, and so here I log in with the correct credentials, and then it will redirect to the home screen. This looks like it's correct. The next one is I coded it in a way so it fails on purpose. And this is just to show you what it how this could look like also when you have a false or faulty test. So I made this fail on purpose. So that's why it's a red check mark or it's a red cross. And there's the logout test. So usually, so you will go and fix your tests so all of them succeeds. But all of this could also be part of your build automation. So in order to validate the new features that you've been developing on your applications. So instead of using man hours and trying to do consistent testing, then you can automate this. So right now I built a local test and it's executing on the phone, on the emulator. So after I built, let's say, test with success and all of them are succeeding, then I can upload my binary file, like my binary application file, and then my the UI test that I built. And then I can execute it on the cloud, on the App Center service. So let me just close these tabs. So next thing you will do after you build your local UI test, that is to choose the devices that you want to test on. And these are real physical devices. So there's a physical, like place where all of these devices are placed and you can execute your test on. So these run on different versions of the Android, different versions. So like the same phone can have different versions. And right now I just built my test around Android, but there is also of course, the iOS devices as well. So after you picked all your devices, now I say I picked the 4 devices. Then you click next and you can choose what framework you use for the UI test. And in my case, I use the Xamarin UI test. And then you have to install the App Center with the Node.js. And down here we get a script. And this script can be part of your build automation on, let's say, Azure DevOps. So I did this previously. Uploaded my test, picked the devices that I want to test on. And you can see here, it's run here a couple of times. So how the UI tests work on the cloud is first come, first like served. So as soon as you schedule your test on the UI on the App Center, then as soon as that device is available, then it will start executing the test. So here we can see I have the same results. So logout test failed, and I made this so it test on purpose. But so in order to diagnose this, and let's say that this is a real case or real life scenario where we have a device that actually fails, then you can go to the failed device method, and you can see the screenshot that is like the last screenshot or this at the stage where it actually failed, and you can see logout fail. And why it fails is because the screen is still on the home page, so it's still the detail menu here. So it didn't actually succeed logging out, and that's why this test specifically have failed. And you can see that the device that it's failed on is the Google Pixel, Android version 10, and some information here. And besides that, you can see the memory usage. So let's say you have some memory leaks or some like abnormal behavior, then you can also use that for diagnosing. Then there's the logs, and you can download the whole device log, and you can from here see the whole stack trace from the device in order to from that specific session, in order to fix, in order to find out what caused that failed, like a failure. So after you set up your, let's say your test job here on AppCenter, then you can go to your Azure DevOps and you can set up a pipeline. So what I did here is I have actually two branches. Let me just go here. So I have two branches. One is the master and the other one is called Azure Pipelines. So in the Azure Pipelines branch, that's where I built my definition and where I added the apps and the test task as well. So in here, let me just go in. So here, I have all the point to the solution. I make the Xamarin Android build, then I make the test build, and the binary files I then leveraged to a folder and then picked up by the apps and the test task. And after that, you can see that this is the same code that I had from when I created my test here in AppCenter. And when this finishes, so if one of the tests actually fails, then this build step will make the build to fail. So that's what we can see here. So the first one, so that means if you want to have, we're talking about lift shift testing, and you want to be test your failures as early as possible in your development process, then this could be a really good practice. So as you can see, the first build definition didn't contain the AppCenter build step. So this one just succeeded in building. And if I didn't have that test, like the test build task, then I could not, I wouldn't be able to find out that there's actually a failure in my feature branch, let's say. So what I did is in this one, I add the AppCenter, test as a build step in my whole pipeline. And here we can actually see the output. It says total scenarios. There were 7, and one of them actually fails. So this can mean that you can early in your development process, you will actually catch these failures if you have proper UI testing. All right, guys. And then you can, of course, set the branching policy on your masters that you're not allowed to branch in, merge with your master branch if your test if your pipeline fails. And that's what I also said. All right, the last thing I want to show you is the notification feature on AppCenter. So here I have the application installed on this emulator, and this notification feature is really nice because it's easy. Everything is handled by AppCenter, so the only thing you have to do is set up your Google registration or your Apple registration, and then you can easily leverage and push notifications to your end users. So that could be that you want to notify users around a new update. Let's say update urgent. Let's say I have this title urgent. Update your app. I'll copy it here, same title. You have to update your app, else Santa Claus won't visit you. So it's a very important message here. So let's here I set the target. So I just want to, you can group which groups like you want to target your push notification for here. Now I just want to send to all my devices. Let's see what happens. Here we can see that there was some sound. So my emulator actually received a notification. And I'll just click on it here. And then actually loaded my application. So of course, if you add some additional data here, you can make your own custom handler in your application, and you can do your own handling. So let's say you want to navigate to a specific page with some specific arguments, then you can do that as well. So this is also a nice little feature we have in App Center. All right, guys. So I hope this gives you that inspiration on how to do automated UI testing, and feel free to write me in case you have some questions. Thank you. Let's just see how I started.